Greetings, everyone. Kindly let me know if I'm audible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I welcome you all to Google Developer Student Club of Rajasthan College of Engineering for Women, Jaipur. And today's webinar is based on the careers in machine learning and AI. So, let me first introduce you to what exactly is machine learning. Though you're here, so you must be already having an idea about it. But yeah, let's get deeper into it. So machine learning, we have heard a lot about the scope of machine learning, its applications, job, and salary trends, etc. But do you know what exactly is machine learning? Why do we need it? Where do we use it? So for example, the investment sector, it has always been a profitable business. In earlier days, investing money required a thorough knowledge of domestic as well as international markets. People used to manually study, analyze the trends of the market, and then do whatever it was required. But in today's time, as the scope of machine learning is widening, we can see a lot of mobile applications that provide us assistance within the seconds for investment in various sectors. For making a smart investment in the stock market, there is an example of Upstocks. It uses machine learning for predicting the future possibilities of the market. So, machine learning in itself is a subfield of artificial intelligence and it helps us to build automated systems that can learn by themselves. Then the system enhances the performance by learning from the experience without any human intervention, and this helps the machine make the data directed choices. Whatever the machine learns from the past experiences, using the available data, the machine uses it to make prediction. So, for example, you must have used Google Maps for navigation. It tries to show the fastest route with the less traffic, less congestion, and this is done using the machine learning algorithms and nothing else. So engineers create machine learning algorithms in such a way that algorithms get used to explore and experience new data for prediction, and this gives the benefit to the organization for making effective business strategies as per the predictions of the ML algorithms. Now let's check the future scope of machine learning in various sectors. The scope of machine learning is not only limited to investment sector, rather it is expanding across all the fields like banking, finance, information technology, media, and so on. And the scope is really high. So there are some areas where researchers are working towards revolutionizing the world for the future. So let's talk about a few of them, and then I will particularly dive deeper into the career options of machine learning as well as AI. So the first thing we have here is automotive industry. So it is one of the areas where machine learning is excelling by changing the definition of safe driving. So for example, we have heard about Google, Tesla, Mercedes, Benz, and so on. They have invested hugely in machine learning to come up with novel innovations. However, Tesla's self-driving cars are best in the industry. And actually, these self-driving cars are built using the machine learning, IoT sensors, high definition cameras, and so on. You just need to sit in the car and enter the location. It itself will find the route and will safely drive you to the specified location. So you can actually think about how wonderful it is for today's time to have such great innovations around us. The second thing is robotics. It's one of the fields that always gains the interest of researchers as well as commoners. So in 1954, George Devol invented the first robot, and it was named Unimaid. After the 21st century, Hanson Robotics created the first AI robot. You must have heard about it, Sophia. These are only possible because of machine learning and AI. The next thing we have here is quantum computing. Well, we are still at an infant state in this field of machine learning, but there are a lot of advancements to achieve in this field. One of them that will take machine learning to the next level is quantum computing. It is a type of computing that uses mechanical phenomena of quantum like the entanglement and superposition phenomena and so on. Using them, we can create the system that is the quantum systems, and we can exhibit multiple states at the same time. On the other hand, entanglement is the phenomena where two different states can be referenced to each other. It helps in describing the correlation between the properties of the quantum system. The next thing we have is computer vision. So as the name suggests, it gives vision to a computer or a machine. And it comes in our minds, the head of AI at Google, Jeff Dean, once said, the progress we have made from 26% error in 2011 to only 3% error in 2016 is hugely impactful. The way I like to think is computers have now evolved eyes that work. So these skills required are basically one of the greatest innovations in today's time. So now I would like to talk about what are exactly the skills required for becoming a machine learning engineer in particular. So just to become a machine learning engineer, firstly, you must know what is programming and how to do programming. So programming is one of the important aspects for any machine learning enthusiast. We generally use R and Python language, and you can learn both of them. There are a lot of courses available online, as well as there are some universities that offer online courses for the same. The scope of machine learning with Python is definitely high. And the second thing is understanding of data structures and algorithm, as we all know. And these data structures are the core of any software, right? This is recommended to have a good grasp of good, data structures as well as algorithms. The next thing we have in machine learning is mathematics. Yes, we cannot perform computation without mathematics at all in machine learning. So therefore, we should have knowledge of applying mathematical concepts into the machine learning models. These concepts include calculus, linear algebra, statistics, and probability. The next thing is software engineering. Machine learning models are primarily built to integrate the software as well as the machine learning algorithms. So a machine learning engineer should have a thorough knowledge of both of the domains. Then we have data mining and visualization. As we build the machine learning models on top of various data, it becomes essential to understand the data. And for this machine learning enthusiast, must have the experience in data visualization as well as in data mining. Then we have obviously the machine learning algorithms. So along with all of these, most importantly, to become a machine learning engineer, you must know what are machine learning algorithms. So yes. So now I would like to particularly talk about the careers in AI. So list down the jobs in AI. There are a lot of them. So I would like to firstly start with first job, that is data analytics. So data analytics is more about finding meaningful patterns in data by looking at the past to make helpful predictions about the future. So if I talk about the average salary in dollars, it is 130,000. That is in Indian, if you talk about it, it is $130,000. This is the average salary in data analytics. The next thing that we have is user experience. So work with products to help customers understand their functions, and you can use them easily. Understand how people use equipment and how computer scientists can apply that understanding to produce more advanced softwares. So it is approximately the average salary in user experience using machine learning is $76,000. The next thing we have is NLP, that is natural language processing. So you must have already heard about the chatbots and the virtual assistants. So these chatbots as well as the virtual assistant, they all use the natural language processing. And if you talk about the average salary in dollars, it is 108,000 plus. Then the next thing we have here is research. So again, a researcher is someone who does research in the field of computer science and AI. You can discover new ways to advance in AI technology and, talk about inventing new technologies using the algorithms in AI and ML. So the base level AI researcher roles have an average salary of $93,000, whereas the junior level roles sometimes also have around $77,000 salaries in as per USA. Then the next thing we have here is the research scientist. So they are expert in applied mathematics, machine learning, deep learning, and computational statistics. And they are expected to have advanced degree in computer science or an advanced degree in the related field supported by experience. So they have an average salary of $99,000. The next role we have here is obviously a software engineer. They always, figure out the bugs, develop applications. They have learned various languages, scripting languages, and so on. So they develop programs on which AI tools function. So they bridge the gap between the user and the AI technology by building the applications. And the average salary is $87,000. The next role we have here is the AI engineer. So as you can see on the screen, the role itself is involving machine learning, data science, software designing, and it creates and deploys the machine learning algorithm. And you must have a degree in computer science, robotics, engineering, physics, and again, you can have various type of free resources such as the AI Google Education, ML in Coursera, and you can also have MSc and PhD in the related fields. Again, salary of any junior AI engineer would be around $57,000, and for an average person, it would be $86,000. And for the top engineers who have tons of experience, they will have around $114,000 as the average salary annually. And the skills that you need for this is data science, statistics, mathematics, CICD, and SDLC knowledge, that is the software development lifecycle knowledge. Then again, you need to learn the CS as well as the programming skills. The next thing we have here is the data mining. So data mining and analysis, as you can see on the screen, they involve database technology, machine learning, visualization, statistics, information science, and so on. Along with that, we have to find the anomalies, the patterns within the large data set to predict the outcomes. It's more about mining the data and do the analysis in order to make the prediction. So the average salary is around $77,000 annually. The next we have here is a machine learning engineer. It uses the data to design, build, and manage the machine learning software applications. And the average salary is around $146,000 annually. Then we have the data scientist. If we talk about it, they basically collect the data, they analyze it, and then they interpret the data set. So they have an average salary of around $115,000 annually. After that, we have the BI developers. The BI developers are also known as the business intelligence developers. They analyze the complex data set to identify the business and the market trends. So they have an average salary of around $92,000. And as you can see, the basic task they have is to design, develop, maintain BI solutions and strategies. And along with that, they do the collection of the data as well as the hypothesis. It is basically required to have a bachelor's degree in either computer science, business informatics, or in economics or engineering. And along with that, the skills required are experience with business intelligence tools as well as technology. You must also have in-depth knowledge of IT. The salary for any junior would be $56,000, and for average would be $80,000, and for some top experienced employee, it would be around $111,000. Next we talk about is a big data engineer. So a big data engineer or an architect basically develop the system that allow the business to communicate and collate the data. Basically, they have an average salary of around $151,000 annually. And now let's talk about what exactly is the difference between the data scientist, the data engineers, and the data analyst. Now, you must have heard about all of these terms, and they seem to be very confusing. So I have particularly prepared this to differentiate between the three so that you can choose whichever interests you the most. If I talk about the data scientist, they're also known as the data managers or the statistician. A data scientist will be able to take data science projects from end to end, and they can help this store the large amount of data, then create the predictive modeling process and present the findings in the appropriate way. So the skills that are required, they are basically mathematics, programming, communication, and we will use programming languages like SQL, Python, and R. If I talk about data engineers are basically known as the database administrators and data architects. And they're versatile generalists who use computer science to help process the large databases. And they typically focus on coding, cleaning up the data set, implementing requests that come from the data scientist. So they have the skills of mathematics, big data, as well as programming. Along with that, they use various programming languages like Hadoop, NoSQL, and Python. If I talk about the data analysts, they typically help people from across the company understand specific queries with charts. So they have work which is more focused on the diagrammatic representations, and they have the skills of statistics, communication, business knowledge. And they will use various programming languages like Excel, W, as well as SQL. Now, let's talk about what exactly is machine learning engineer. Here, in the previous slide, we didn't talk about the machine learning engineer. So now I would differentiate data scientist, data engineer from the machine learning engineer. So again, these three terms also seem to be pretty confusing when you talk about them in general. So in this slide, as you can see, we have a good differentiation amongst the three, and we will see how the three of them differentiate. So firstly, I will talk about what they do. So if I talk about the data scientist, they build the models that help the business get better insights and make prediction from their data. On the other hand, if I talk about machine learning engineers, they basically automate the ML process and make the models work in a production environment. If I talk about the data engineers, they basically build, test, and maintain the data pipelines, provide ML models with quality data. Talking about the skill set, the data scientists have knowledge of mathematics and statistics. They have decision making and data optimization skills. They have a really high proficiency in SQL, and they know scripting languages like R and Python. If I talk about the machine learning engineer, they have a really solid programming background. They know the data science skills as well as they have the knowledge of maths and statistics. They have rapid prototyping skills, they have good problem solving skills, and along with that, they are proficient in deep learning frameworks. If I talk about the data engineer, they know the scripting skills like the Linux commands, they have the knowledge of the databases, and they have the knowledge of cloud technologies, proficiency in SQL, data modeling skills, ELT development skills. And lastly, we talk about the tools that they use. For the data scientists, they use Python, R, Pandas, Jupyter, notebooks, SQLs, and so on. If I talk about the ML engineers, they have Python, PyTorch, TensorFlow, cloud services, and so on. And lastly, if I talk about the data engineers, they know SQL, Oracle, Hadoop, Amazon S3, Python, and so on. I'm pretty sure you must know and you must have understood the primary differences between all of these professions, because they seem to be pretty confusing at first when you look at them from a distance. That is the data scientist, data engineer, machine learning engineer, and so on. But you must have got some fairly rough idea of how they exactly differentiate. You can choose any of them according to your interest, according to your skill set, or in which field you actually want to go ahead. So now I would like to talk about the careers in machine learning. So basically, AI and machine learning are pretty much similar, as we have already talked about the fact that machine learning is a subset of AI, but still there is some sort of differentiation. We'll see how. And there are multiple professions regarding both of them. So let's talk about them. So what exactly is the career path for a machine learning engineer? Basically, again, we have already talked about it, but still just to get a deeper idea, to become a machine learning engineer, you typically have to work your way up so that you have enough education and work experience under your belt. So firstly, the primary step is to complete the undergraduate degree. So acceptable degree options are mathematics, data science, computer programming, statistics, physics, or anything as such. And then you must have impactful understanding of business. That will be really helpful for you to prosper in the field of machine learning, because it is used most in the business and it is used with respect to business. So then again, we have the second thing, that is the entry level careers. So you typically cannot jump into a career as a machine learning engineer. So some places you need to start as a software engineer or a software programmer or a software developer, data scientist, or a computer scientist. And then you get eventually promoted to the position of a machine learning engineer. Some organizations do have this position directly open for freshers, but some of them do not. You must really keep a check over the organization in which you are applying. Does it really have a direct vacancy, or does it hire employees directly as machine learning engineers, or do they eventually promote to this position? The next thing is earn your master's degree or a PhD. So a majority of machine learning engineer jobs require more education than the simple undergraduate degree. The aim to receive master's degree in data science, computer science, software engineering, or even a PhD in machine learning should be your aim if you really want to excel and do really well in this career. The last thing is keep learning. So a career as a machine learning engineer means that your education actually never ends. It's not, if the technology continually grows, your need to always be researching AI, understanding new technologies become even more important. A great deal of leadership skills is also useful. Now, the fact is that not all the organization can justify a full-time ML engineer. So a career as a freelancer is again a really good option. If you are truly interested in machine learning, you only want to do machine learning in your career and you really want to excel in it. And if in case you're not able to find a suitable role or a position in any organization, you do have an option to work as a freelancer, as a freelance machine learning engineer, where the companies will eventually hire you on the contracts and they will give you the task, which you will get paid really well. The skill required we have already discussed are programming, probability, statistics, data modeling, ML algorithms, and system designing. And the salary range also is sometimes between $69,000 to $150,000, depending upon the experience. The next thing we have is a data scientist, and we have again already talked about it. So it basically analyzes the large amount of data to make valuable insights on where actions need to be taken. And not only you will have a significant portion of time spent on researching, but you will also solve the problems. You will have meaning in the data. You will find the meaning within the data associated with machine learning and understand the deeper implications of the human impact of the project. Data scientists are part of mathematicians and part of computer scientists and part trend spotter. So they work in both the business as well as the IT worlds. There is an amalgamation of both of them. And that's why I have focused on the fact that you must have a fairly good knowledge of business, how it works, how the things work in there, and how you're going to analyze data if you want to actually do really good in your ML career. So as we know, data scientists were the #1 job in America in 2020, and it is not at all slowing down. Rather, this actually hiring trend is increasing day by day. And thanks to the lack of competition, a data science career is a really lucrative option for you. So to become a data scientist, you'll require quite a bit of education and a desire to continue learning new technology. And there is a guideline to follow if a data scientist career piques your interest. The first thing is develop an understanding of the common programming languages. So the first thing you need to do, although it isn't really necessary, but it's definitely a really good place to start before university or on the side. And since you have so many programming languages available, you can learn them easily. So it would really help you to build your career in this field. The second thing is complete your bachelor's degree. So common degree options are statistics, computer science, information technology, mathematics, or even the data science if it's available. And you can also complete some online program. And for example, we have multiple data science boot camps for multiple weeks, and they can actually fast track your career. Then you can work on an entry level job, and right after the university as a fresher, you'll have to start with the junior role, gain an understanding of the field and work your way up to the top.
So the junior data analyst and the junior data scientist are actually a really, really good option, and you can easily switch between these. Then you can also earn a master's degree or a PhD. As with many of the careers, the more education you have, the more sought after you will be. Working as a data scientist is no exception, and furthering your education in data science, computer science, information technology, math, or statistics will excel your career. So don't forget to learn the data management programs as well. Again, the last thing is to keep learning and working hard, obviously. If you want to really have a high paying job as a data scientist, you must make sure to work really hard along the way without any halt to maintain your position and to be the best. So the skills required are probability, statistics, calculus, algebra, programming language knowledge. Then we have the database management skills, machine learning, deep learning, and data visualization. Along with that, the salary range is around $87,000 to somewhere around $150,000 plus, depending upon the experience. So again, the next field in which you can make the career is human-centered machine learning designer. Now, this is something we haven't talked about it yet. So it sounds a lot more complicated, but we need to simplify it. And this is actually pretty simple to understand. So the human-centered machine learning designer is basically someone who has, the skills of designing. That designers that develop human-like systems that machines can recognize and process, thus elevating the need for humans to manually design programs for every piece of new information. Instead, they help the machines learn the human knowledge. Some common places you'll find the work of human-centered machine learning designers are on Netflix recommendation page. Algorithm behind the most social media platforms, how Amazon decides what to recommend to you next, and how various applications have specific recommendations curated according to your interest. This is done due to these professions, that is the human-centered ML designers. Banks even use it to sort through the financial transfers to see which ones are fraudulent. So there is one fact I want to share, that is the Netflix has actually saved $1 billion. And thanks to its machine learning algorithm that helps to personalize their recommendation. This is the power of machine learning in today's time. The path to become a human-centered machine learning designer, it is pretty similar to the jobs that are listed above. You will benefit from the following education path. So first thing you need to do is to complete your undergrad degree. That is, you can have a degree in IT, computer science, and it will be pretty beneficial for your career as a designer for human-centered machine learning. Second thing you need to do is learn the programming language and to develop a solid understanding of programming languages such as Python and SQL to prepare you for your career. The skills required are UX design skills, machine learning, system design, solid understanding of data, communication skills, and research skills. The salary range is somewhere between the $69,000 to $125,000, depending upon the experience. The next thing we have here is computational linguist. Yes, this is some sort of new position that we haven't discussed yet. And this is again very interesting. So a computational linguist. So what exactly is it? As the voice recognition gets more and more popular in everyday technology, so do the jobs that make this software work. So according to the value colleges, computer linguists help computers learn how to understand spoken languages and to continually improve the systems that currently exist, as they frequently make mistakes. They also have really excuse me for a minute. Since we are using Zoom, it might time out and end the meeting in 40 minutes. If in case it ends the meeting, please rejoin the same link on which we are right now, and we will be continuing our webinar from there. Thank you. So yeah, let's continue with it. So as we have the computer linguists, they actually help the computers to learn how to understand the spoken languages and continually improve the systems that currently exist, as they frequently make mistakes. They also help the computers learn the patterns of speech, and they can help computers acquire the capability for translating the words into other spoken languages. In other words, if you're a fan of linguistics, language, and technology as well, this is literally the perfect job for you. Some common places you'll find the work of computational linguists are telephone systems for banks, doctor offices, or other customer service centers. These technologies are again very popular for helping those that are blind as well as in talking to text applications. As the main ones that everyone uses, like Siri, Google Translate, and spell check programs, are all largely popular computational linguist systems. As a matter of fact, according to Learning Hub, 97% of the mobile users are using AI-powered voice assistant, and 43% of millennials would pay a premium for a hybrid bot customer service channel. In order to become a computational linguist, you are more likely to have a bachelor's degree or a college degree or even a master's degree along with a solid understanding of linguistics. There are multiple ways through which you can achieve it. The first thing is to complete your undergraduate degree. So you can have a degree in linguistics, you can have a degree in mathematics, statistics, or even in computer science. All of them would actually help you in building a career as a computer linguist. Then you can earn a master's degree. The computational linguist program, if offered, or further your learning with any of the above undergrad degree options. So then you can complete several certifications that are available online, or you can enroll yourself in a boot camp. One way to gain more education without spending more years in school is to either fully immerse yourself in a subject, teach it yourself, or take a certificate program, an online boot camp to further your learning. The skills required are machine learning, deep learning, solid understanding of syntax, spellings, and grammar. And obviously, we can have the theory of computation that you must know in order to become much more better and excel in this career. And you must be frequently using more than one languages. And this is again a plus for your career. You must have a good knowledge of computer or software processing, mathematics and statistics, natural language processing, and communication skills. The salary range is around $81,000 to $1,06,000, depending upon your experience. Then we have the role of software developer. Often referred to as the creative brains behind the computer programs, software developers have the technical skills needed to build the programs or oversee the creation by the team. Software they create allows the users to perform specific tasks on various devices. This can be anything from playing a game, building a spreadsheet, and watching a movie or creating a new program. A career as a software developer is a fast-growing field that's becoming more and more important for many companies. And according to Government of Canada for software engineer and designer over a period of 2019 to 2028, new job openings arising from expansion, demanding, and replacement demand are expected to total 27,500 plus. It adds with regular labor supply. The number of computer science schools leavers is projected to continue to be high since this field of study remains attractive to the young people. The software developers typically combine some sort of education with work experience to break into the field. So here is a guide how you can become one. And probably you all must be having some degree related to computer science. It will be really helpful to become a software developer. Again, the first thing is the bachelor's degree. Many software developers have a degree in computer science paired with a strong understanding of programming skills. Then you have to take a boot camp, Lighthouse Lab, Web Development Bootcamp, Web Development Flex Program, etc. are some of the really famous bootcamp programs that provide the mentorship, data-driven curriculum, top-notch learning environment that will launch you as a first junior web developer. And then you can also do the internships. Because they're highly recommended to partake in the internship, earn hands-on training and exposure to programming languages, emerging trends, and best practices within the tech industry. Again, the last point is to never stop learning. Since this is a field of technology, there will be advancements, and you must always be up to date with what exactly is happening and how things are changing in terms of algorithms, in terms of different technologies, and so on. So any career in technology will mean that you'll never stop learning and you will continue to learn new languages and new softwares. Since being a software developer is more on the creative side, you'll also want to work to keep your creativity fresh. So the skill required are statistics and probability, computer science, data structures and algorithms, computer architecture, analytical skills, and communication skills. And the median salary is around $58,000 to somewhere around $1,20,000 annually. The next thing we talk about is NLP scientist. NLP scientist is basically a natural language processing scientist, and they basically aim to impart the machines with the ability to understand the natural human languages. NLP scientists are primarily responsible for designing and developing the machine and applications that can learn the patterns of speech of a human language and also translate the spoken words into the other languages. The goal here is to help machines comprehend the human languages as naturally as humans do. Grammarly, Duolingo, these are some excellent examples of NLP applications. So the skills required to become NLP scientist is basically the primarily job of NLP scientists is to teach machines how to understand the nuances of human languages. They must be fluent in the syntax, spelling, and grammar of at least one of the languages, and the more the better. Also, they should have the basic level of machine learning skills. So if you want to excel in machine learning, different machine learning professions require distinct skills to carry out the demands of their task. First and foremost crucial requirement is the coding skill in any of the programming language like Python, C, C++, Java, and so on. Secondly, the knowledge of the fundamental statistics and calculus is another important skill which becomes in handy when creating machine learning algorithms. Machine learners will benefit from having knowledge of data engineer and software engineering skills. Students interested in a career in machine learning do not need to possess all of these skills because they can learn them over the time. So now the next thing is, how are machine learning and data science related? Since we've already talked about the difference between them, let's get a clear idea of how they're related actually. Machine learning is one of the most interesting tools in the current data science world. It is one of the numerous tools available in the field of data science, and it is an interdisciplinary domain that makes use of extensive amounts of data and processing power at its disposal to generate insight. In other words, it is basically a field in the technological world that focuses on extracting meaning and insights from a vast amount of data. Whereas machine learning is a set of data science approaches that allows computers to comprehend the data. These methods produce good results without having the need to have explicit rules to be programmed. So which is more preferred programming language for machine learning profession? So Python is basically the most preferred language. You must already have an idea about it. So most of the ID giants prefer Python because of many of the reasons. Continuous data processing is required for machine learning, and Python definitely has a lot of built-in libraries, lot of built-in packages for almost every single task. Whenever we are working with the complex machine learning application, these features aid the machine learning professionals in reducing the development time and increasing their productivity. Python's simple syntax and emphasis on the code readability allow the machine learning developers to concentrate on their writing rather than how they're writing it. Python's multi-paradigm and flexible structures also allow machine learning engineers to tackle a problem in the most straightforward way feasible. These were all the professions as we have discussed till now. And if you have any of the doubts, feel free to ask them. You can either unmute yourself or you can type in the chat box, and I would love to